Can you see the screen?
Yes, yes.
So we discuss about the board of directors and the risk also, right? So you have to, just to give you heads up again, you have to come up with the skills what we need in the non-executive director, and secondly you have to work with the, first one is to balance the board. That question is clear, right? I in fact gave you some hint regarding like finance background, legal background, right? Hello?
Yes, Mr.
I already gave you hint for that you need to do.
Can you repeat this?
When we discuss corporate governance, I told you guys that our board is not balanced, so we need to come up with the options how we can balance our board. For example, two entities are less. So what
right
you can bring in to complement that two entities?
Right.
Yeah.
So legal.
I just gave you a hint. You have to come with your own points and justification that you have to put on that Excel file I've shared, like that you have to work on it.
Okay. Yeah.
And secondly, we discuss risk. For risk, we have to come up with 50 odd risk and their mitigation. That's our plan. And for the start, they have given some of the risk here we discussed in the last session, and we also discussed about the mitigation, right? Make sense? Suchita,
yes.
You are there?
Yes, Mr. Hello.
I hope you started working with the risk, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get started now. So after risk, we have financials. But before financials, we just discuss the news stories and come back quickly. Can you guys see the screen? Happy comic?
No, it's not visible.
You cannot see the screen?
No, we can see the screen, but it's stuck.
I'll go to PDF only because this PPT is just wasting time. Can you see now? Is it better now? Okay.
Yes.
So before financials, we can just look at the news articles and the news stories. So that will be easier for us. Okay. Firstly, this is very important because most of the time in the exam question, you see they give an attachment, and the attachment is a news article or it is an email. Mostly it is a news article. So what does it mean? Firstly, it's a reference material. It is trying to give us some extra information, and many times the news stories they have already given in the Preseen, like this one, it is to give us a hint what type of question can be there, what type of, or they are giving us a point of reference to start with, right? Previously they used to give only direct news article from the media companies like newspapers, but now they are giving like readers question. Usually a small kid will be asking certain question, but the idea is to give us the basic of like our business, our industry. So this will give us a starting point to do certain research. So like here they have put a person like Max, age 9, asking certain questions. How many stages does a rocket have? So why we need to know this, how many stages we have? Because this is part of design, this is part of planning, this is part of successful execution, what we are trying to do. Recently, we have that rocket launch in Florida. I hope you guys have seen it's trending on social media. We have one gentleman from India also being part. So rocket is no longer about satellites. Even humans, they are going it. So there is a lot of development that is happening. And government, most of the government are interested to invest in that. Right? Did you follow that
Yeah,
news?
Miss Ba. Miss Ba. They have gone to do some experiments on atmosphere and like that, it seems, no?
Yes. They're going for some research, and they mention in the news that there should be some research which is about commercial aspect also. But what is
Yeah.
the commercial aspect is not there. So that also we need to see. If you remember what we are talking in Leothayre is our focus is only on satellites. But from satellites we can also see how we can make it more safer for the human beings. Right? So most of the rockets that are used to launch satellites into orbit have two stages. The first stage must be powerful enough to carry the rocket and its payload through the thickest part of the Earth atmosphere. If you remember, we discussed last time also, the first stage or the stage where we have to go through the thickest part, the atmosphere where we have very high gravity. Here most of the launches will fail in the initial stage. And if they pass this, the chances of success are higher. Then the first stage can either be a large rocket with the second stage and payload stocked on the top, or it can take the form of booster rockets attached on the sides. The first stage will normally burn for 2 minutes, after which it will separate and leave the second stage to ignite and carry the payload into orbit. So we have a lot of pollution here. That's an environmental factor. Another thing is there is a risk in that 2 minutes. If there is any disruption happens, it can lead to an accident, and people who are located in that area, usually we try to do it near the sea and the jungle, but still now with the increasing spaceports coming up and want to send more and more satellites, so this can lead to a health and safety risk also. And again, it can interrupt with the aircrafts. Whatever flights are going in that area, that need to reroute if this is happening. Are you getting the point? How everything is connected?
Yes.
The airline industry is also a stakeholder to us. You can write it down.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. This first stage rocket, they'll be having some sensors that will fall apart where that location is given, like that. No.
It will fall apart, but not exact location.
Okay. But somewhere in the Preseen, we saw that they'll be working on the sensors development to, whatever the failed satellites and all will come and fall in particular location only, so that there won't be any major losses in the environment types.
Particular location means yes. In particular area, we can say not exact location. Like I said, in the sea or in the jungle kind of thing. Because the spaceport itself is located in the remote areas for the safety.
Okay.
Right. The second stage can be smaller than the first because the rocket will be lighter after the first stage has consumed its fuel and separated. It will also be less drag because the atmosphere will be thinner and higher altitude. So we need less fuel now. I mean, this is very logical. We have seen in the video and everything. The stages are large. They fall back to Earth once they have burned their fuel and detached themselves from the rocket. So as you said, when they fall back, it should be on a particular location. The second stage might spend some time in the orbit. What is orbit? Orbit is a place when the Earth atmosphere is, finished, before it returns, depending on speed and direction of travel after satellite's payload has been deployed. Let's see what the second question. Rockets always look really tall in photographs. How tall are they, and how do they get something that big in the launch platform? This is more about the logistics part, assembling part. This is very important. We need expertise here. We need support from suppliers, vendors, and the ecosystem here, right? Okay. The average height of a rocket that can reach LEO is 58 meters. Can you imagine? It's quite big. 58 meters is almost like 180 feet, more than that. So when you talk about the logistics, it's not like we have spaceport everywhere, we just discussed. So we need to have a logistic support, and that too, to make it easier, usually it will be in a different boxes kind of thing, different small things, then it will come and get assembled. But again, we cannot depend on the traditional logistic companies. So we need to see if Leothayre is doing the logistics, or we have any third party who supports that. We are not launching the satellites, or maybe the satellite companies who are launching, they have their own logistics. We are more helping them with the satellites. Most rockets are too large to be transported in one piece of spaceport. Technically, even if you notice, our expertise is more about satellites, not even the rockets. So it's not directly relevant to us, but it is important for the industry and the ecosystem. They are usually delivered to the site in stages or sections that can be stacked and assembled vertically in an assembly building space to the launch platform. So just write it down. One more point about assembly building. Health and safety risk on assembly building or expertise required for assembly building. We can do a research on that. Okay. Because here also, if we don't do the assembling properly, despite having the best design, best infrastructure and everything with the rocket and satellites, it can lead to failure, isn't it? Because there are so many parameters here, even a very, very minor mistake can have a bigger impact. This makes sense? Hello?
Yes.
To the launch platform, the payload satellite is then loaded. The rocket is assembled on a movable platform that can be rolled with considerable care to the launch. This is what I was saying. Considerable care is required. The rocket is fueled and made ready for launch. Who is providing the fuel? How many companies we have? All of this we need to do, because this is the responsibility of spaceport, I believe, and we are helping them with the spaceport. The whole process of final transportation launch depends on weather, particularly wind speed. So if you remember, one of our work itself is to predict weather for the LEO, right? But still, sometimes disruptions can happen. You cannot exactly 100% tell about the weather. Then the wind speed, because that can again affect the power we required, right? Anything else is important? Okay, we can move to the next one. This is important. I mean, all are important, but here this environment related questions are usually asked. In fact, in last 2-3 years, to be honest, I have seen two topics very, very commonly asked. irrespective of the industry. One is environment, second is about the cyber security. And same thing can happen for August. So be ready to write on this topic. So you can do some research about environmental issues, how we can safeguard environment in the industry. So you already have a lot of points to answer. Yeah, Josna, you're saying something?
Yeah, so like you told cybersecurity is already asked, so it will not come in the August, no?
Cybersecurity, I mean, yes, the same topic they can ask in number of different ways. Yeah, the probability if the question is repeated for one attempt, it will not come for the next attempt.
Okay, okay, got it.
Of the cases that's there, but they can still test the same topic in a different way. Let's say first time they talk about there is a risk on, there is already a cyber attack. Now you have to mitigate it. How we can mitigate? In second thing, they can make a cyber question into a finance question also. They'll say we are trying to invest some X amount of money, X million or billion, to improve our cyber security. Evaluate the project. Is it worth it?
Yeah, got it.
More from an investment perspective. And environment also, for example, they can ask like, because of environmental issues, the stakeholders are not happy, especially these NGOs, environmental groups and NGOs, right? They are disrupting our work. I think we saw one mock also relating to that. Other thing they will say because of the environmental, our share price is going down. Or sometimes it can be on a positive side. Like Leothayre is doing better than the industry in terms of environment. Shall we continue that? Because if we don't continue, maybe we can save some cost and improve our profits.
Yeah.
Sumukh and Suchita, are you getting the point? Please be very much ready for these two topics. Okay. Usually students struggle with the quantity. That should not happen. All right. Vijay is 12. Rocket launches look spectacular, but there is a reason for that. Most of the mass in a rocket that is sitting on the launch pad is from a form of fuel. The fuel has to burn rapidly in order to create massive amount of thrust from the rocket engines. This creates large quantities of greenhouse gases and soot. So this is a problem. The pollution created by rocket is potentially more harmful than that from other sources because rocket deposit these harmful materials in the upper atmosphere where they cause a disproportionate amount of damage. This is a very important point. Okay. I would suggest to use this fact in your answer also. For example, you want to justify why we need to work on the environment, or maybe why a government will come up with some regulation relating to this, because this pollution is not like a traditional problem. This will do disproportionate damage. That means massive damage, and it is even more harmful, and it will go to the upper atmosphere, so it will affect a lot of areas. So another point for you, just write it down for the research. What the space industry is doing to solve this environmental problem due to frequent rocket launches. Or you can just change the question, what is the environmental cost of launching a rocket? You just do some research and post on the group.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So like this means like what is there any plans that already what in this industry how to reduce the environmental loss, like what are the satellites are already there in the atmosphere, so they wanted to bring it down like that, or any other kind of action?
So there are two things. First thing is we have to do research to find out what are the best practices happening in the industry.
Okay.
Let's say Orbilink is doing something we are not doing, or NASA is doing something we are not doing, just to relate to the real world. That is the first thing, best practice. If they are better, we can do the benchmarking with them. Second thing is to just see what can happen in the future. Once you research that, you'll find what are the government plan, because we have seen that from 1,000 satellites, it will be like 70,000 satellites.
Yeah.
So when already we are saying it will do disproportionate, it's too bad. You know, in the next thing they have mentioned, the next news article only is there about the quantity. Yeah, 70,000. We'll come to this. So, and now it's like 10,000. So 7 times. So this disproportionate damage will be even more by 7 times. So what are the government plan? That also you can have a look at. Make sense? So do that research and just try to answer it in 2-3 paragraphs. You can otherwise share that link itself if something is good on the group. Okay. If not, you can just look at different places and write your own points. It will not take much time. Maybe you can do after today's class itself immediately. I hope Rajiv, Suchita and Sumuk also clear with the question.
Can you say once again, bro? I'm not clear about that.
Yeah, Rajiv, I said, as you can see on the screen here, they have mentioned that rocket launches is very harmful for the environment, and it will do disproportionate amount of damage because it will release the pollution in the upper atmosphere. Okay. So the question is, first we have to see what is the environmental cost of rocket launches, and secondly, we have to see what are the best practices happening in the industry, or other way also we can look at what are the government plan to solve this problem.
Okay.
Go to NASA website, you'll get some idea.
Okay.
Okay. Then moving on, some rockets jettison stages before all get off, their fuel has been burned. That can lead to clouds of toxic vapor falling to Earth, potentially harming plants, animals, and people over a wide area. Not every country and every geography have a lot of places to launch where we don't have animals or plants or land people living in, right? They will be there maybe like 10 kilometers, 50 kilometers, at least somewhere there. So this can affect the society and the other animals also. Remember that CubeSats are usually added to rocket payloads. What is CubeSats? The smaller satellites, which we are mastering in, which is our core competency. Alongside the large satellites that are primary purpose of the launch, the space industry launches as many satellites as possible. So usually how we are trying to reduce the cost, we have discussed this point before also, by launching multiple satellites. Therefore we have come up with the design that is small, something which is just holdable in our hand. Design is also square, because we can have maximum possible and it will reduce the cost. The large rocket can carry up to 30 CubeSats. So any damage to the environment should be evaluated on the basis that several missions might be launched at once. So this is something now a positive side. We are not launching one satellite per mission. Sorry, one rocket launch for an individual satellite or individual mission. Maybe in a single rocket, we have like 30 missions, 100 missions going on, because there are a number of satellites. And if you compare this to the satellite thing, what we are looking at, they are saying satellite will go to 70,000. That doesn't mean the launches will be 70,000 launches. We don't need to do 70,000 rocket launches. Maybe we just need to do 7,000, or maybe even less. Assume if it is 100, maybe 700 launches itself is enough. Are you understanding the link between that? Why I said instead of 70,000, 7,000, I am assuming like 10 satellites per launches. Or assume like in the best case 100 satellite per launches. So if it is 70,000, how much launches we need to do? 700 launches. Though it is very bad, but we are trying to reduce in one way by doing lesser launches and having more satellites in one rocket itself. Make sense? Okay. Moving on to the next one. What happened to old satellites after they stop working? Fancy H17, she is asking. That is very important question. Satellite can remain in orbit for many years, even those in the LEO. Everything in the orbit travels at immense speed, which means that even a small part that breaks away from satellites or that is jettisoned, like coming out in orbit during launch, can destroy operational satellite. This is a very big risk. So please write it down. You can add this risk in our risk list. Okay. So if anything comes off, remember in the risk also, they have mentioned that we cannot use the traditional materials in the space because of the wear and tear. I'll just go back to that risk list. If they have mentioned thing they have put into the mitigation. I think they have mentioned in other place, but what the risk they are talking about is here. Heavily depend on supplier for the deliveries of components and assembly. So why we are dependent on supplier? Because we cannot use the same quality of materials. Let's say we are using certain rare earth metal, and that may be used for other purposes on Earth. Can we use the same level of quality in the space? I'm asking you guys, can we use it? We cannot use it because it will break. We cannot use the same. Let's say we are tying up with certain mechanical thing for our car. Let's say for the example, we cannot use the same level of tightening or attaching when we are sending it to the space.
Okay.
So we need a very strong attachments. Because the atmosphere, the temperature, atmosphere is not there, the temperature, the things are moving very fast. So it will not sustain. It will break into parts.
Yeah.
I think they mentioned in the news article itself in the later stage, but that's the risk.
So here, yeah, I got it. But what you highlighted is like, is that of old or Leos or
this is a industry risk.
Industry risk. Okay.
What I highlighted in the risk was about the supplier, because not everybody who is dealing with the same material can manufacture this, because everything in the space is moving very fast and it requires very, very high amount of quality. Extreme quality is required. Otherwise, it will break. And when it will break, it will not only be a problem for that particular satellite, but it will destroy other satellites also in the space. So we can imagine it's a very, very big expense.
Okay. But when it is falling, then it should come on the Earth only, no? Because of the sensors, Mr.
So where these satellites are operating, we don't have gravity there, so it will not come back to Earth.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about in the space. It will just
Yeah.
rotate and it can hit other satellites, or sometimes that will be a collision. Collisions between satellites can cause both to break up and leave lot of fragments in the orbit. Then again, more collision will happen. Let's say one satellite got an issue, it hit another, then another, then another. So like this, lot of satellites can be affected with that. Collisions are rare, but they do happen, and the likelihood increases as the number of items in orbit rises. The most serious problem with old satellite is that they often contains batteries or fuel that can explode, breaking them into small pieces and making the problem of space debris. So apart from that, another problem is space junk. So whatever is left there, maybe it is not hitting other satellites, but it is like a junk there, right? Now we have to keep sending more satellites, but there is a lot of junk which has taken up the space, or which have taken as the, you know, the location where you want to do it. So maybe now it is not a problem, but when we want to launch so many more satellites, it can be affecting the project, we can see. Therefore, it is a more serious. It is estimated that 10 to 15 large items break up in orbit every year. So it is an industry level risk. Now, who will take the risk?
Will they have they given any place like life of the Leo satellites?
So life of the satellite, it depends. You know, if you just do some research, we'll get an idea. Some satellites, if you look into GEO, it will go for 25 to 30 years also. MEO, it is 10 to 15 years. And what we are looking at, LEO can also go up to, you know, around 10 years or even more. But now what I found in the research is, to reduce the cost, what these companies are doing, they are sending satellites in the LEO low Earth orbit, which is just for 3 to 6 years.
Okay.
That is saving the cost, and it can serve the purpose. The project will be done. But the government and the stakeholders are not happy, because you will do your work as a company who is launching the satellite, but it is creating more space junk. Because previously it is for 15 years, now let's say it is for 3 years. We are sending more satellite, but the life span has reduced. So in a way, if for 15 years one satellite was enough, now for the same work we have to send 5 satellites, or at least 3 satellites. That is also another issue. Another issue leading to the same problem, space junk. So to increase the lifespan of the satellite and to have different use cases is again important for the success. Success, or we can say to have a sustainable growth. So another question you can put and do some research, like what are the average lifespan of the satellites, particularly in LEO, and how it can be increased. Because now what I see, maybe you guys have also seen, it is reducing. Make sense?
And correct me, Ms. Ba, if I'm wrong. Like this LEO satellites, each satellite will be working for one purpose only. And say, for example, if one customer client wanted to use it for a communication thing, the same person cannot use the same satellite for the other work, or can it be done both the works also in the same satellite?
Primarily, a company sending satellite. LEO's main use case is this internet. Okay. Now, in that, can it be used for different purposes? Yes, it can be used. Mostly, it is sent for one primary project, but it can have some other projects also. So it depends on how the satellite has been made, what is the quality, and the features that has been there. So
Okay.
sometimes what companies are trying to do from a commercial point of view, if they have a satellite, they will do their project and they will do some other services to other clients. So that way they can also have a revenue on that. Or different companies will come together and launch a single satellite, and all of them, let's say it's a 5 companies. So 5 use cases are different for each one of them. But they're trying to solve that through one satellite only. One satellite only.
Okay. Okay, like cloud services, it can be used by the different people also.
Yeah, something like that. Yes.
Okay.
In short, the question is yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
It is possible to design satellites so that they fall out of orbit at the end of their lives. Unfortunately, that increases both construction and launch costs significantly. So we can, make them out of the way, but again, the cost is higher. Construction also and launching also. And in fact, to save the cost, as I said, we are reducing the lifespan of the satellite. So this will not be sustainable. Today or tomorrow, government will come up with the strict regulations. Till now, we don't have a regulation in the space, but we can have something in the space. We're already talking about space charter. And here they have mentioned, yeah, space junk charter. So we have 2 more news articles, but we'll just start with the last one first because more relevant to what we discuss. Okay. So excellent business news. This is where we are located. So if something comes up in our local news channel where we are operating in the same country, so it will affect us more than something coming up in other countries. Maybe we still have business there, but where we are listed, this is a primary, right? Mexican government signs space junk charter. Mexican government has become the latest to sign the space junk charter, so we are not just one. And what is space junk? Just what we saw. Because of the rising issues of satellites, and is getting it's breaking up and all of that. Signatures agreed to commit themselves to make their best efforts to encourage responsible use of space. So now it's just like baby step they have taken. Space debris or space junk. The charter does not have the backing of law. It's the law. What is law? When we don't do, we'll face the consequences. So this is more about, we can say, like a moral duty than a law. But in the future, it can become a law also. Legislation would be difficult because government have no jurisdiction in space, even in low Earth orbit. We don't have a jurisdiction, but in the future we can have, or combine, the United Nations will come up with certain jurisdiction. But it gives us a hint that we need to be working on a sustainable model, right? The charter does offer standards that companies involved in the construction and launch of satellites are encouraged to adhere to. What are they? The final stage of the launch vehicle will be designed to remain intact with no detachable parts left in orbit during satellite deployment. Because if one part that gets detached, it will affect number of other satellites, right? So more care is required in designing. Plus, we already have a problem with supplier, which we are trying to solve by doing in-house. But Leothayre cannot do it in-house. So we need suppliers. That's an industry level issue. The trajectory of the final stage will result.
Sorry, Ms. Ba, I lost here. Can you repeat what is charter?
Charter is technically they are coming with an agreement, we can say.
Okay. Okay.
For the industry.
Okay. Agreement like policy type. Like
Yes,
a company has
but
to
it's not
follow.
a regulation, we can say.
Okay.
Or it's a bill, we can say, right? Like in the parliament, we will be passing the bill
again, bill is like to become a law. Bill is like a strong. It's like even
Okay.
before the bill, we can say it's like rights and duties. They are coming up.
Okay, okay.
A contract kind of thing, I'll say.
Like a policy type.
Right. Like a policy, but it's not a law. Or I would
Yeah,
say
got
it's a first step towards a law.
Okay.
The trajectory of final stage will result. This we have seen.
So here in this first point, they're saying the rocket launch should not be detached. The first part should not be detached, and it should carry along with the satellite. And when they fall apart, then
What
it
they are
has to
saying
finish
is,
with
we saw in the new, previous one, no, that sometimes the things will fall off from the satellite, right? Small parts, and that small parts will not only fail that particular satellite, but if they hit other satellite, that can also get lost, right?
Yes.
So design in such a way that we don't have detachable part,
Okay, got it.
so it will not break. As we
Okay.
discussed, it will be very strong. We cannot just put like screws and bolts and send into space, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
what we are doing currently, we are trying to do it with a lot of things to assemble it. But now what they're saying, why can't we design something which doesn't require assembling itself? So the risk is even reduced of that parts coming off.
Got it. Got it.
The trajectory of the final stage will result in it falling out of its orbit shortly after deployment of the payload. The final stage will be designed to disintegrate harmlessly during its return to the Earth. Then satellites will be designed to minimize the risk of explosion of batteries, fuel, and any other volatile payload. This is normal. Then space junk is a problem. They have already recognized there are approximately 35,000 objects measuring 10 centimeters across Earth orbit and 950,000 objects between 1 to 10 centimeters. So already there are a lot of things in the space. So when we are launching a satellite, we have a risk that if this object come and hit our satellite, everything will go for waste, right? Whatever we have done will be a waste or will fail, all the investment and everything. Though the probability is very, very, very rare, but the impact is very, very high. But why the probability is low? Because it's just like 35,000 objects kind of thing, the bigger one especially. But if we don't control this, it can become, or it can multiply. So the probability will increase. And next thing, it is estimated that there are 10,000 operational satellites in the orbit. And if you remember in the introduction, out of that 85% is our market, Leothayre. Leo thing. But the number is expected to increase 70,000 over the next decade. The growth can be attributed to reduction in launch cost and increasing number of applications for satellite technology. So to understand the applications, we have done that research, right? I hope you guys are clear with the new applications coming of the satellite technology, the new use cases.
Yeah. Yeah. Ms. Mo, I have one question here. Like, this debris are there, na?
Space debris, yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So, our satellite will keep on rotating the Earth. It will be keep moving, or it will be at one stagnant place in the orbit.
If we're talking about Leo, it will keep on rotating. Like in 1 hour 50 minutes, I think they have mentioned around 2 hours. Depend. In 2-3 hours, they will do entire rotation of the Earth.
Okay.
Yes.
So for that rotation and all, what is that they use only solar panels and some little bit of fuel to bring back to the orbit if they miss the orbit, and that's it.
So for powering, the solar is the primary source. Then they're working on some batteries also, right?
Okay.
Fuel is more about in the launching. And with the latest satellites, if they miss, even in Leo, it's not like everybody go for like 1,000 kilometers. Some will be in 700, some will be in 800. So there is a small changes. We can make it align on the track again.
Okay, okay. So my I don't know. I like a layman, I'm asking, is it needed that Leo needs to rotate all the time, or we can make some constellation where the rotation is not needed, and we can we can get the information basis the constellation. So only if we are rotating, Leo is rotating, then only this problem with this space objects junk and all will be a problem to us, no? If we are constant at one place, there won't be anything, right? Or how it will be?
Yeah, that's a good question. So if you compare this to geosynchronous satellite, they are not orbiting because they are very far. They take almost 24 hours to do the orbit, and the Earth itself is moving. So they stay in the same place and Earth will move. So that way, geosynchronous is doing. Now coming to the Leo, if you are saying we can do constellation, which is like different satellites are working together. Yes, that is possible, I believe. This is more of a technical, they won't ask, but from your point, for your question, can we do that? Yes. But having said that, we cannot do that for every project because every requirement is different. And if you remember in constellation also, they have mentioned sometimes hundreds and thousands of satellites are working together.
Yes, yes.
So if we have, let's say, 100 and thousands of satellites, let's say thousands, maybe that time it will work. Otherwise, let's say it's a private company or it's a private government, or even I have seen universities here, individually they have sent satellites. They don't need that level of, working together. Plus, they will not have that resources and everything to work together. But can they do? Yes, it can be a solution.
So why I got this doubt in the question in that is because these objects can harm us only if we are rotating or if we are moving in the space, or else if we are idle at one place, there won't be any problem to us. Not that way.
I mean, we cannot say then there won't be any problem because they are also moving. They are into the same place. This small particles, nothing will stay still there. It will be keep on moving.
Okay.
So if you are stationary, also something will come and hit us.
Yeah. Okay.
But the risk is less. If both are moving, risk is more. If one is moving, risk is less. Probability is less. Right? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Now moving on to the next one. Wexland Business News. Central City University space rating degree is out of this world. So we need this skill. We have been discussing this in the corporate governance. We have 3 directors coming from education or those who have good connections. Okay. CCU or Central City University has announced the provision of new MSc degree in space construction. The new degree is intended primarily to support the needs of the growing satellite construction industry for engineers who can design and build devices that can survive and operate reliably in orbit. So this is like an opportunity for us. We have got a stakeholder who is working and understanding the problem. What is the problem? We don't have a lot of degrees or qualification which is practical or which is catering. Because what happens, what we need in the industry, let's say we need something in 2025. And when we approach the university or the ecosystem, everything get matured, it will take another 3-4 years. And when they will start training, and maybe we'll have that resource ready after 5 years. So we cannot wait for 5 years for our project. So what we do, we keep on investing our own employees. But if the employees leave, retired, again we are lacking that level of skills. So if the universities also become proactive, then that problem can be solved. Otherwise, the response is very slow. For example, fintech has been a booming thing from last 10-15 years, isn't it? But now universities, most of the universities have come up with fintech in last 5 years, fintech course. Otherwise, we just have normal MBA finance, MBA marketing and all. But now they have launched like fintech. So if it is proactive or if it is with the changes, then it is win-win situation for the students also and for the companies also. Student will get employment fast and the employer will get the required skills. Building satellites require advanced engineering skills, which is hardly surprising given that they must survive in rigorous of being launched into orbit and function perfectly after being deployed. It's not only about launching. Once in orbit, they must operate in microgravity, which can affect the operation of mechanical devices. They're also exposed to huge temperature changes if their orbit takes them into and out of direct sunlight with no protection from Earth's atmosphere. Being outside atmosphere also leads to exposure of electronic components to potentially destructive cosmic rays. So design something for Earth and for the space is totally different. The failure of a single component can be sufficient to cause a satellite to fail. This is a very important thing. Therefore, we are talking about the logistic, and I told you to put that into the risk, the assembling of the rocket, right? And bring its mission to premature end. Even the simplest item can pose a risk. For example, fasteners such as screws and nuts and bolts must be made from metals that can withstand the vacuum of space. Metals are not space rated, can deteriorate, that are not space rated, deteriorated and disintegrate far more quickly in orbit than they would on Earth. So I was looking in the risk, but they have mentioned here. Risk, they have just mentioned in principal risk sector about the suppliers. But this is what I wanted to show you guys. What we need for the Earth, that will never be sufficient for the space. We need extra level of quality. And I think that is obvious, isn't it? Then satellite manufacturers specify space-rated products. So how they do? If they have the same material that is being used for Earth and the space, so obviously the quality will be different. How they do it? By having a space-rated products. But again, we don't have so much of suppliers for that. So if Leothayre wants to go into other line of business, we might do this manufacturing. We are doing a little bit for our clients, but maybe we can start this full-fledged. When they order components and materials, they also subject assemblies to vibration and vacuum test at various stages of the build. The space of development makes it difficult to be certain that nothing will go wrong when the satellite reaches orbit. Obviously, the risk factor will always be there. But what we can do, we can test with the vacuum test, vibration test, whatever we feel they'll experience in the space, we'll try to create a scenario and test that. Technically, we need a lot of research and development here also. This is another aspect from where a question can be asked for you guys in that. So whatever topic comes, you need to talk about it. They will not ask you technical question. They will not ask you, how to design, how to come up with the components. But you have to give something which is a logical answer, something which makes business sense. Like we should have more number of suppliers. We should do all the possible testing here. We should look at the cost and the risk involved. Is it making sense? Okay, move to the last one. Excellent dairy. Will it rain on my farm within the next 90 minutes? So this is focusing on the use cases. Use case of Leo. This is quite simple. Farmers pay close attention to the weather for all sorts of reasons. So as we know in farming industry, just one bad rain or one bad weather for a few days can affect their entire years of hard work. At least 1 year of hard work and the investment and everything. They need to be very, very careful. A prolonged heat wave or a period of constant rain can affect the growth of crops and the profitability of their farms. Weather forecast provided by the Wexland Met Office. When we say Wexland Met Office, it is a government organization. are freely available online or from print and broadcast news reports. Unfortunately, this does not always reflect the very latest conditions and may not be sufficiently localized to be certain that the day's weather will be on the farm. So we can also check weather on our phones, right? But is it exact? Even if it is exact, let's say it is giving an example of Chennai or Bangalore, but even it will not give for specific area. But what we need here is specific for that area. So what is the solution? Solution is Leo, and specific Leo focusing on this particular farm, or usually it's not just one farmland, it's different farmlands together. So maybe let's say it is 40, 50 acres or 100 acres, that area that can be focused. Some activities require much more precise weather forecast that can be obtained from the Westland Met Office. For example, a rain shower during the harvesting of a crop can affect the moisture content of the grain and might reduce its selling price. Large farming corporations often pay for localized weather forecast. Large farming corporations. Now, when we talk about corporations, they are running like a business. They must be a listed business. They have enough funds. They can do it. What about the smaller farmers? Can we try to do this with Leo in our CSR? But again, we are not owning the satellite. But we can suggest this to our clients. So large farming corporations often pay for localized weather forecast from satellites in low Earth orbit. This forecast can provide accurate weather forecasts that enable decisions to be taken with confidence. Delaying the harvest by 12 hours might improve farmers' yield. So small changes. Now instead of this, they might have given other use case. So anything can be there. Farmers are not only the ones who require personalized weather forecast. Is what I was trying to say. Builders might obtain one before they pour concrete foundations for a major construction project. Let's say they're pouring in a lot of concrete and there is a heavy rain. So what will happen? The entire mixing what they have done, it will have an issue. Oil companies have satellites check the weather at sea before committing to towing an oil rig to a new site. Make sense? So this was more of self-explanatory. Any questions from here?
No.
Okay, now we'll go to the last part, an important part. That is, technically everything is important. This is a small pre-scene, but all are connected. That is the financials. I hope you can see the screen with the financials. So before starting, what is expected here? So just to clarify, there will be no calculation for you in the exam. Secondly, they are not expecting you to remember this. They'll not ask you in the exam, okay, what is the revenue, what is the profit? You already have access to the pre-scene in the exam. Access to pre-scene means you can anyways go to page 17 and look at the numbers. So why we need it? Usually, if you compare this to previous paper, management case study, operational case study, they also don't have calculations, but numbers are more important there. We have to take the numbers, justify, talk about it. Or sometimes they themselves will give us certain numbers. But here in strategic case study, is more about understanding or evaluating our current position. So here especially, we need to look at different ratios which give us an understanding of different concept. Sumuk is asking, do we have to provide financial analysis if they ask to provide company's performance? So they will not ask you direct financial analysis, no. But to evaluate company's performance, certain financial points, if you want to highlight, that will help. Therefore, I have shared F3 notes yesterday on the group. So the first chapter is talking about this only. It is talking about, I'll just show you, and maybe you can do this before our class on Sunday. Can you see different screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm on chapter 1 of F3, which notes I share. So if you see here on the screen, we have like profitability ratio, lender ratio, investor ratio. So what does it mean? As an investor, like bank is more of lender. Investor, we can say shareholder. Then lender as a bank or other financial institution. Profitability is required for every other stakeholder, right? So as a stakeholder, they are looking at different ratios. So for us also, in this financial, what they have given, we have to calculate certain ratios. We have to see what is our gearing, what is our interest cover, what is our dividend payout, right? And try to understand what does that tells us, what it gives us an idea about the strategy. For example, when we'll do the dividend ratio, dividend is about the last year dividend divided by the profit of the year, profit of that year. For us, I think it's coming around 37 point something, and we can also compare with our billing. So this will give us an idea about our dividend strategy. Same thing with our gearing. If our gearing is more than 50%, then it is riskier for us to raise the finance. So like this, our main aim is to do the ratios. Again, will they ask you ratios in the exam? No. Then why we are doing it? You can ask me. We are doing it to understand our financial position, to understand our decisions, why we are taking it, or just to predict what can be the future, or to understand the financial health of our company. Like for example, gearing is high. Let's say they ask you a question to go with debt or equity, and we suggested to go with debt, but we didn't know already our gearing is, let's say, 60%. So it was a bad decision, to go with debt again, because if we are so geared, banks will not be happy to pay, give us debt. Or if somebody agrees also, they will give at a very high interest rate, which is not feasible for us. We should have gone for equity, or maybe we should have not taken that project itself, because to raise money at such a high cost, was it worth it? Same thing with the dividend. They ask a question, can we just avoid dividend this year, make it a zero dividend this year? So we can give a better answer if you know how much percentage we gave last year. And last year you gave 37, now coming to zero directly will give negative signal to the shareholder. We cannot just come down like that. Maybe we can reduce a little bit. Normally the expectation will be the dividend should go up, not come down. And again, we don't have all the information to come up with all of these ratios, but at least major ratios we can do. I've shared the familiarity kit also. In that familiarity kit, you might have noticed they have done the ratios. So our aim is not to just stop at that ratios, but to understand what does that ratio means. I'll just share the familiarity kit again. Does it make sense what I'm saying? I'm trying to understand.
Yes.
So that's the aim. Nothing more than it. So you don't need to worry too much about the finance. And to understand it better in terms of Wexland situation, they have given an immediate competitor also. Why immediate competitor? Let's say our revenue is going down. Yes, it's going up, but it's going down, and their revenue is also going down. So it gives us an idea. Maybe there is an industry level issue, but in this case, both are growing. So that means the industry itself is growing. If both are going down, or one is going up, another is going down, so it gives an idea that the market is saturated. So let's start. And another important thing what they have done is they have given for 2 years. So 2 years is very important because we can compare with our performance the last year also. Imagine they have not given this 2024. They have just given this, like say profit 175, revenue 1,782 million. So we will not know did we improve or not, or are we doing good or not. But now if you see for the last year, we can say, okay, at least in terms of number, we have done a decent improvement, if not very big. So comparison is very important. If we just give one figure, we cannot conclude, right? Okay. So revenue has gone up from 1,683 to 1,782. So you can even look at it in terms of percentage. If you want to just pull out that analysis I have shared, there also it's there. Just 1 second. Or you guys can just calculate now, so you'll understand better. Just tell me what is the percentage of revenue increase. Just do 1782 divided by 1683, you'll get an idea. 1782 divided by 1683. So it's like 5.8. We can say 5.9% increase in revenue. So now what we can do to understand is it good or not? We can see the industry average, but again industry can be difficult. So easier way is to, we can maybe just compare with Orbilink. They have a better number than us. It was 2,272. Now it has gone up to 2,566. What is the percentage increase? Hello. Are you guys doing it or not? Am I audible?
Yes, Ms. Ba. I think if I've done it right, then it's 112.
12.9%, right?
Oh, 1 minute. Yeah.
Just divide.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yes, yes. I did the same.
2566 divided by 2272. So it should show 12.94% increase in the revenue. And for us, it was around 6.9. So technically, they have done double than us. So their numbers are better, plus the revenue that they are getting is better than us. Others, are you following it?
But it's coming like 1.4 or 1. Like only 12% means.
Just divide it.
12%.
It will come
Yeah.
1.129. For
Yeah.
I am saying.
That is 1.05 for Leothayre.
Yes. 0.59.
Yeah. Like how the 12%?
Sorry.
You said like 12% increase.
That is for our billing, our computer. We're just comparing.
Yeah, for okay.
Try for this also.
For that also it is like 1 point something. It's 1.13.
Technically is for 12.9, but if you round, yeah, 1.13, if you are saying 13%.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So this also gives us an idea. So do all this in your financial analysis. It's already there in the file I have shared. For example, this is like, I'm not able to type properly with this, but it's like 6% increase. This has gone up by 6%, the first one. Then if you look at operating cost has gone down by 3%. So operating cost ideally should go down, because imagine if the revenue is going up, then the operating cost is also going up, then our margin is not increasing. Right? Then operating profit, if you see, from 528 million, it has gone to 656 million. So again, the increase of 24%. Right? That's also a positive thing. Or what I'll do, the negative I'll put in red, the second one. So like this, you do analysis and write a number also, I mean the percentage also in front. So we can use to justify some of the point. Finance cost, again, good thing, finance cost has gone down to, gone by 29%. Sorry, it has gone up, not gone down. So usually, why the finance cost will go up? Because we have taken loan, isn't it?
Yeah.
And to understand where we have invested this money, we can also see our balance sheet or statement of financial position. So usually they'll pay back the loan. Sometimes they'll take debt and pay another debt. But, or we can just invest in the project, or we can invest in property, plant and equipment. So we can just compare our asset. So if you see, our asset has gone up from 6,885, it has gone up to 3,770. So again, there is an increase of around 13% here. So maybe we have used that money to buy off an property, plant and equipment. We were invested in property, in short. So that way, it can help us in gearing also. What is gearing? Gearing is debt to equity ratio. Are you understanding, or is just difficult? I'm just talking about simple things. We're just trying to evaluate it for our understanding. Tax obviously will go up with the operating profit. Overall profit for the year, how much percentage it has increased? 15%.
15.9, 16 overall.
Yeah, around 16% increase. So this is like good for us. But again, we need to see what is our competitor, because we are assuming that They're into the same situation. If you see on the headers also, they have mentioned Orbilink is a direct competitor to Leothayre. What do you mean by direct competitor? Direct competitor is someone who is into the same industry, same sector, same business, where it's very important to compare, and it will give us a direct analysis. For example, Coke and Pepsi, Nike and Adidas, Audi and BMW. So they are into same sector, same industry. Both are luxury or both are cost leader. They are direct competitors. It competes for the same contract and has been in the business for slightly longer. Only difference is they are more. We launched in 2004. Maybe they launched in 2000 or like 1990s. Orbilink head office located in Wexler. So therefore, we are comparing. What is their profit in terms of percentage?
75%.
75% increase?
Yeah.
That's a lot, isn't it?
Yes.
And another thing is the revenue gone up by how much percentage? I'm just trying to compare. Just 1 second. What is their revenue? What is the percentage of revenue did?
13.
Was it 30% increase?
13, 1 3.
13, yeah, that's what I'm saying. 13%, yes, not that. So 13% here, and now when it came to profit, they have done very good job, isn't it? So maybe operationally also they are very good. This is 75, isn't it? But for us, technically, if you see I'm just trying to 75 divided by 13. If you do so, like 5.7 times their profit has increased. So they have saved a lot of thing in their operations. But with us, we have not been able to do that. Right? So you can write one point about the operational issues. Operationally, we are not doing good. The revenue increased by 6% and profit 15%. So we have done like almost 3 times. And they have done almost 6 times, 5.75. So operationally also they are better. So when you are doing SWOT analysis, you can mention this point. Next is consolidated statement of changes in equity. Here, the most important thing is we have to look at the dividends, what we have done. So firstly, if you see the share capital is 800 million, we don't know how many shareholders we have, but we know the share price. We'll see opening balance if we talk about the retained earnings. So when they ask you for investment, okay, another important thing for this finance is they'll ask you in the exam with the number like we need 400 million, 500 million. So you can recommend that instead of going with debt or equity, we can also use our retained earnings. For example, our retained earning closing balance is 3,690 million. But as you guys must be aware, this is not equal to cash. Maybe cash is just 10% of this, isn't it? Even profit is not equal to cash, and retained earning is also not equal to cash. How much dividend we paid is 65. 65% of how much? 175. In percentage, how much it is coming? You can just do 65 divided by 175. It will come 37.14. So we have given 37% dividend. Now 37% is good or not? We cannot tell exactly, but usually it depends on the industry. However, most of the time the industry will give less than 30%. because if they give more than 30%, it's difficult to sustain. Let's see how much dividend they have given. How much they have given? Can you just do it quickly? 85 divided by 335. How much it is coming?
0.25, that's 25%.
25%. So we have given 12% more. And more than 30% is anyways considered not sustainable. But the problem here is they don't give any justification for that. And if you notice, in the changes of equity, they don't give us previous year's data. Only in this profit or loss and in the financial position they will give. So we don't know how much we paid the last year also. Why the last year is important? We'll see in the dividend policy chapter also. Last year is important because it gives signal. Let's say now we have given 37% this year. The expectation of shareholder should be we will give 37 or maybe 38%. So we don't know whether we paid this much or it was only for this year. Another thing we can connect is, okay, before that, what are the expectations of the shareholders? How does the shareholder earns money? What are the returns? How they earn return, I mean, as a shareholder?
Dividend.
Only dividend? What is the second option? Second option is through increase in share price, isn't it? If the share price increases, the value of the shareholders also goes up. Let's say if they've invested when the share price was $10 and now the share price is $50 after 5 years. So their earning also multiplied by 5 years. 5 times. And whenever they want, they can just sell the shares and create the profit, isn't it? So to balance, sometime if the share price is not performing good, then also companies go for extra dividend to keep them happy. And now we can see what is happening with us. You guys have read the Preseen. So what is your thought on this share price? Anyone want to comment?
Like it is reducing, and further it reduced in the other 3 months also. Latest price also we have to.
So this is not normal. Obviously they are reducing, and they are reducing in a way which is like very strange.
Yeah.
But continuously, and it's not just like this year, but last 5 years. From 2020
Yeah.
till 2025. And if you see the industry, what they have given in the Preseen, what it shows that the industry is going up. The market opportunities are growing. And if you look at Orbilink, they are growing in revenue, profit, and everything. We also increased a little bit, but that is not being reflected here.
Yeah. Is it because of net worth or something else which is impacting here?
Is it because there's no retained earnings they have, and therefore the finance cost is also high?
No, retained earnings and all will not have direct impact to this.
No, like I just connected the dots. Like the finance cost is high, so that means like They have been taking some loans, right?
Sorry, you're connecting to share price. Can you repeat what you said?
Yeah, so the share price is decreasing, which means that there might not be any retained earnings. And therefore, like, since we also saw that finance cost is also
Interest
high,
cost.
yeah, like which suggests we have been taking loans. So, like, that I was asking, like, can that be a case?
Yes, possible. To what extent it depends, but yes. So if you look at the industry, I mean, therefore we have to do industry analysis in the real world also, not just in the pre-scene. So if the industry is doing good and the companies in the industry are making profit, which I assume they do, looking at our billing, and we are doing bad. So there are two types of risk what companies are facing. One is external, one is internal. So here in Leothayre, it looks like we have issues which are more internal to us. Maybe with the directors, board of directors, the policies, the strategies, or the previous risk which we have taken, we have failed in that risk, right? And if you see in the corporate governance also in 2022 and that time, we have got a lot of new EDs and NEDs. So there have been a possibility that the previous board didn't do a good job, or they themselves were not ethical. Anything can be a question. Question as in, we can question. We have to just guess what might be the reason, because we have very limited information.
Can we also say, like, since the share price is decreasing, it wouldn't be favorable to hire any NEDs anymore? Like, how many ever are there already? With them itself, it's decreasing, right? So
I mean, yes, there is a different way to look at it. One way you can say we don't need to change the board structure. Already we are into a problem. Or another way of looking at it is we need to change the board structure because we are in a big problem. Even we can think we should replace the CEO. Maybe he's not doing a good job. Therefore, we are having issue with the share price. Or change the entire board. Or at least shuffle some of them. Because we don't see any growth, isn't it? So in short, we are not into the good position. And remember one question as we discussed, which can be asked usually is source of finance, how you fund the project. So usually you have two options. One is through debt and equity, right? Debt is like when you take a loan, and equity is when you raise money from the shareholders. So when we do equity, we do with the rights issue. Rights issue means discounting on the current share price. But I was just thinking how we can do rights issue, because already our share price is around $4. If we do right issue, it will come down again further. So right issue looks difficult here. And now when we'll go up and look at the gearing ratio, I want you to do all ratios properly after the session, because now in rush it will be a little difficult for you to understand. We'll discuss it again in the Sunday class also. Anyways, coming to the point, so share price is not good to do the rights issue. Now if you look at the gearing also for Leothayre, it is more than 50%. So technically it is difficult for us to raise through debt also and equity also. So we are into a very tricky situation. Neither we have lot of save money. Like retained earning is not equal to cash, and we have paid good amount of dividend also in the last financial year. So overall, Leothayre financial position is not great in terms of raising finance. Right? But does that mean we cannot raise? The answer is no. We can still do it, but it will be more difficult. Are you getting the point? Like banks will charge higher interest rate. Maybe during rights issue, we have to give more discount to the shareholders.
like what do you suggest? What do you say? Like why it is coming down? Major causes.
So we don't know exact cause. We can just make the guesses because they have given limited information, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. One is that with the debt equity ratio, and
No, debt equity ratio will not affect the share price.
yeah, generally share price will be shown based on the net worth of the company, and then goodwill, how it is rising in the market.
Right. So being a listed company, it will reflect company's position. The market will decide the company's position. So if a profit increases, we are getting new projects, share price goes up. But if a profit goes down, which in this case has gone up a little bit, or sometimes in B2B business, which we are in, small clients will give more business, right? So if we lose just one client also, share price will go down. Let's say we have 10 clients, each of them is giving 10%. If one client goes away, then 10% revenue gone. That means share price will also come down. So we have to guess what might have happened.
Okay, but our client list will not be disclosed outside, no? So who are all our clients?
No, it won't be. We are coming up with assumption. This might have happened.
Okay.
Because they have given us a hint in risk. If you go back.
No, why I'm asking, I'm just thinking, will there be any inside news about the company or any reputation risk is there for this company? That is why this price is losing. In that way, I'm just sensing like when we are discussing.
Yes, that is possible. It may be due to reputational issue. It may be due to loss of client.
Because we see all are in growth phase, like revenue is in growth and margins also there. Everything is in, at least stagnant should be there, but still it is reduced in further 6 months, 3 months period also again. So this is what
growth is not that good. If you compare to Orbilink, their growth is double than us.
What is it? Sorry?
If you compare to competitor, Orbilink.
Okay.
Comparing to the competitor, our growth is just 50%.
Right.
Maybe that is also one of the reasons. The industry growth, let's say there is another thing, the industry growth versus our growth. If industry has grown by like X and we have just gone by half X. So I think this company is not worth investing.
Got it.
Let's say you want to invest in Swiggy or Zomato, this food delivery company in India. If Zomato is multiplying the revenue by X and Swiggy is not doing that, so people think, okay, or even Swiggy shareholders will sell and go back to Zomato.
Yeah. Right.
So that can be also the reason. Another reason can be, again, you can just do research for this. It's all guesses. This can also be a question, write it down. You can do research why usually the share price of the company goes down, or what are the top reason why the share price of the company goes down. Sujita and Rajiv, especially for you guys. Find out. Another reason I'm guessing is because of the board of directors. Technically, you guys should have done research. I told many times to read the Preseen daily, and when you are reading, you would have come across this thing. The share price is constantly down, so you should have done some research. I think still you
because the board had changed during this phase only, and because of their operations or the strategic plans, people are not feeling that trustworthy, and then they are losing that price.
Yes. And a lot of reshuffle happened in our board also in the last 5 years. We got new CEO, a lot of new directors. So maybe the previous board didn't do a good job, or the current board is not doing the good job. Even the current board, we cannot see they have done anything good.
Yeah, right.
We got them in 22, 23, 21 during these 3 years. And now last 2 years, they have not done anything. Maybe we can even think of, if the question comes, how to manage the share price. So you can even say that we should replace the CEO or the board of directors. That can also be one thing. Because companies are very strict. If the CEO is not generating profit, not growing the company like share price, the CEO will be replaced. Simple as that.
Okay. And in the unseen also, they have given like they subscribed one company 100%, and then there is a cyber security loss. Is that a real scenario, or just like that they are giving to us?
So that is an exam question. Okay. In exam, they can give any scenario. So what we have to do, we have to link what we know from the pre-scene that becomes a fact, and what scenario they give in the exam question, or that was a mock. So we have to link it. Yeah.
Now that is not matter to our, I mean, like we should not think that is as a
no, that is just like a scenario.
Scenario only. Okay.
We don't need to link that to this one.
Okay.
Then Leothayre's beta factor is a risk factor. For example, a risk factor in an ideal situation should be 1. 1 means it is equal to the industry risk. Whatever industry is facing, we are facing. But sometimes company have less than 1, more than 1. In our case, it is more than 1, 1.15. That means we are 15% more risky than the industry average. Whatever risk the industries are facing, I mean the companies are facing in our industry, we are 15% more riskier. And sometimes if it is 0.8, let's say we are not having now, let's say it's 0.8. That means we are 20% less risky than the industry average. You're saying something, Jyoshna?
Yeah, beta means like market risk only, no?
Yes.
Okay.
Industry risk. So we are 15% more risky. So as an investor, if you think, or let's say you are part of a bank, if you are giving loan to a company which is 15% more risky, what do you expect?
Yeah.
No, I'm asking what do you expect?
We are exposing more 15% more than the market what is been standard.
So you'll expect 15% more return also, isn't it? At least
loss or return, yeah, both.
Yes. So whether you are a shareholder or you're a financial institution, anybody who is paying Leothayre, they'll also expect a higher return because they are taking more risk.
Yeah.
So this can affect our interest cost also. Suchita and Rajiv, are you following everything?
Yes.
Yes.
I hope you guys are reviewing it daily, the pre-scene.
Yes.
Honestly, right?
Yeah.
So when you are reading, it's not just like reading, you have to stop, think, research about it, and as I told you, make notes. Very important.
Okay.
So like this dividend, okay, this is done, then closing balance, rest all is not that important, like how much we have total. Technically, we have gone up with our thing. Retained earning can also be used as an investment, but as I said, it's not equal to cash, so we don't know how much we have. Plus, using retained earning can be risky for investment because we need money for our working capital. Now in the financial position, most important thing is we need to look at our gearing ratio, debt to equity ratio. Okay. Debt divided by debt plus equity formula we have to do. It is there in the family kit and the Excel sheet I have shared with you. From there also you can do. Then property, plant and equipment has gone up. Sorry, this is for Orbilink. Yeah, this is for us. For them also gone up, for us also gone up. Goodwill remains the same, other intangible assets. So if you see, intangible asset is very important in our industry. Why? Because when you talk about design, when we talk about this licenses and everything, it is more of an intangible asset. And for our industry and for our business to grow, we need these things going up. So again, it's a positive sign. Inventory has gone up again. So what kind of inventory we can have? We are doing some basic level of manufacturing. Maybe because of sales, the inventory has also gone up. We are, maintaining some kind of inventory. I mean, trade receivable. So maybe we have sales in credit, which is normal in B2B business. So that is the thing. Bank has also gone up. Yeah. So bank is equal to cash. So this is something we can use as an investment if required. However, we have 551 million. Do we have it in August when you'll write the exam? No. When we have it in March. So April, May, June, July, August, 5 months. So you can say, let's say you need just 100 to 100 million. So you can say we have, or we used to have around 500 million in a few months back. So if that is there, we can use that money as an investment. Right? This total asset. Now equity is the same 800. Retained earning, obviously, it has gone a little up. Now non-current liability. When we say that finance cost has gone up, that means obviously your liability will go up because this is directly relevant to the. So 4,500 we have, and if you look at our finance cost, it is 450. It's rare, but if you see it direct like 10%, how much interest we are paying now? 10%. 450, we are paying interest on how much? 4,500, and previously it was 350, so 10%. So with the increasing liability, again it will affect our.
Or no, Mr.
I mean, 10, if you look at an individual person, it looks good, but for a company, I believe 10% is very high.
Okay.
Again, I mean, everything is subjective here because it depends on the industry also. This industry is risky because it's more of like, growing industry. It's not matured industry. The bank will also think twice. Secondly, now we have to see what is our gearing this year and what is our gearing last year. If our gearing increases, then also our debt increases.
And here why I'm saying I felt it is good. I don't know, but our profits are operational margins are 15%. Here.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Our operational margin is at 15%. No?
Margin.
Profit percentage.
Profit is 15%.
So this 10% to 15% and growth 5% is there. No? So that way I'm saying whether it will be good only.
Okay. Usually when the borrowing increase, it should have even gone up to 11%, but it has remained the same.
Okay. Please correct me if I'm wrong here, because I'm just sensing this much. Actually, as a percentage ratio, if we see this is bad, but however, because of that risk factor, we are like gaining the profits. No? So I'm just thinking whether this will be better option or how you have to correct me. Actually, I'm getting dilemma here.
I mean, it's possible to link. Now, if I look at the gearing debt to equity ratio, previously it was 44%. How we calculate? We just take debt, total debt divided by debt again plus equity. So we have got 44.4% for last year, and this year it has gone up to 50.1%. Because of this, another 1,000 increased.
Yeah.
But on the positive side, we have got more collaterals to give if you want a future loan. But the problem is we have crossed that 50% shield. But is it
Right.
something wrong to cross 50% shield? No, it's not like a legal thing, but it's like a thumb rule. Usually companies want to remain below 50%. We are currently at 50.1%. But when you're talking about percentage of the interest, it depends on so many factors. But just for comparison, let's see how much percentage this Orbilink is paying. So Orbilink has also increased their borrowing, but to a small number, just 300 million. 4,700, they have come up to 5,000. Okay. Now for 5,000 borrowing, how much interest they paid this year? Let's see. 500. Oh, so it's exactly same. That's strange, isn't it? 10% again.
So they are making revenue of 2.5K.
Right.
Like comparatively, we are making less, no?
Yes, yes.
For that much of borrowings. 2,272 that.
Yeah, revenue we already saw what they are doing.
Okay.
Yes.
How much is our revenue for 2020?
It's 1,782.
1,7. Okay, yeah. So I'm just saying here in that the person who's taking 4.5K as a debt and he's generating revenue of 2.72. Here we are losing 1,000K revenue here with that same comparison of debt.
That is not directly with the debt. So if you want to compare that other ratio, we can use return on capital employed. So you can look at the capital asset we can have. So we can look their asset and our asset. So our asset, for example, is 7,770. If you try to compare their asset, their asset is 8,741. So they are better in terms of the PPA. Even if you look at total asset, it's 10,500. And for us is 9,300, let's say. So they're having better assets. Maybe because of this asset, they are generating higher revenue.
Yeah,
we can
capacity.
compare revenue with the debt. We can compare with the assets we have.
Okay.
But why we went there is to just look at the interest, how much they are paying. So 10%. Maybe that is a normal thing in Wexland for this industry.
Yeah.
Suchita and Rajiv, are you following?
Yes.
Yes.
I know it's not slow. You have to break it down and read every ratio and understand it. Then it will make complete sense. Don't worry. Once you read, it will make sense. And we are not closing this chapter. We'll be coming back to this financial. So usually it is a dilemma for me to do the textbook first or the pre-scene. So usually students says to go with the pre-scene first. So when I go with the pre-scene, they don't have the fundamentals. So for key topics, what we usually do is now we are doing this like financials. But once we do F3 and discuss about these numbers and all, we have to come back again here. So that way it will revise. Okay.
Yeah.
Now in liabilities, next thing is current liabilities like trade payables. We also have supplier, isn't it? Maybe they are in credit, it's gone up. Tax liability, it might be more of indirect taxes also. So nothing very strange in our financial position. And same thing if you compare for Orbilink. For Orbilink, you don't need to remember numbers. For our company, if you want to remember like profit, gearing ratio and all, it might help. If you want to put in your answer as a justification. But Orbilink is just for comparison. If you try to look at their total asset has gone up. Overall, their financial situation is similar to us, or I will say structure is similar to us. Only thing is they are better than us in terms of asset, equity and all. But if you see how they have structured the company with the debt to equity and their intangible has also gone up compared to us. Their goodwill has remained the same. Very, very similar to us. Same thing. Their sales gone up, their trade payables also gone up, their tax liability has gone up. So very similar business model.
What about their price, their share price? No?
We don't know their share price. They don't talk about it.
Okay.
We have only Leothayre share price. But maybe they are doing good with better than us in share price because their profits are better. Not
Okay.
the profit, but how they are growing year on year. That is also better.
Okay. It is Orbitalize. I'm just googling how is that.
Orbalink, you can say. Orbalink Group. So how is the name coming with us? Leo means low Earth orbit here.
Leothayre only it is coming.
Yeah. Orbalink means it's coming from the word orbit, I believe. Orbit link, like that. They want to put it. Okay.
Excellent.
So apart from that questions, I'll give another work for you as we are not connecting tomorrow. Also, you have time. So calculate these ratios on your own, and for your reference, you can go to the familiarity kit and also do the Excel sheet. And for every ratio, you should understand the background. Okay. And for understanding the background, obviously we can discuss in class. But if you need immediate, you can go to Investopedia, as I said to you guys last time also. It will give you like a quick summary in a paragraph, or they have like 1 minute video. There also you'll get an idea if this ratios you're not understanding. Plus it is there in the text also. The F3 I have shared. There also it has been explained. Okay.
Yeah, Miss, but there's no company called Arbalink actually. If I'm googling that.
No, it is not there in real world. What we are studying,
yeah.
everything is fictional. There is no company Leothayre, there is no company Orbalink. Because if CIMA gives the information with the real company, it will have legal issues, isn't it?
Oh, okay. But I see Leothayre share price come when I see in the Google. That's why I'm saying still further it reduced in the 3 months period.
Sorry. What did you say?
I said like we have an option till March only, no? So still further another 3 months again it reduced. So I saw that share price coming down further 2-3 points.
Where did you saw?
That's why I'm like now after when you're saying this, I am like wondering what did I see then?
Who sent you?
Sorry, in Google only I saw.
No. There is no company called Leothayre and Orbalink. This is just an exam scenario.
Okay.
It's just everything is fictional here.
Got it.
They have mentioned
like a week back, I just searched what is the current price of Leothayre. Then it was showing further reduced. So I was like thinking it's a real
maybe
number.
somebody is just posted.
Got it.
Yeah. Like if you see this Preseen and associate exam will aiming to reflect real life. We are just aiming. It's not a real life. It's a fictional thing.
Got it.
It's not a real company.
I thought it is only our job as a simulation that we have to do.
No, everything is simulation.
Okay. Got it.
Maybe that numbers they have given, for example, they are giving here 10,000 satellites. Sorry. Yeah, 10,000 only, right? Yeah. But when we go to actual industry, we'll find out it is 11,000. It is 9,500. So we don't need to worry too much what is in reality. For us, for the exam, this is the reality. But is it a fact in the real world? No. Maybe the information which they have given here may be not accurate also. But it's fine.
Okay.
We don't need to worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions? We'll discuss
No, Mr.
financials a little bit again on Sunday. Then we'll continue with the rest. Okay. But I request you guys to do all the ratios and come up with the understanding. Then only it's better, because I see not everyone is involving.